Hey there, welcome back to You Can Understand Shakespeare. Look, it's Act 3, Scene 3. If you're watching this one, you probably know the deal. 3 P's, those are the 3 obstacles to understanding Shakespeare. That's what I, John Donovan, am here to help with. So let's just dive into it, shall we? Here we go. We enter with Friar Lawrence, a Franciscan friar. He says, "Romeo, come forth, thou fearful man." He's fearful because he thinks he's going to die. He doesn't know that he's just banished. And this is exactly what we know from the last scene, that Romeo's hiding at Friar Lawrence's cell. Makes sense. He says, "Affliction is enamored of thy parts." Enamored is from like amour, to be in love with. So affliction, sorrow, it is enamored of thy parts, your body parts. Affliction loves you, and thou art wedded to calamity. Just a very poetical way of saying you are deeply united with pain and suffering. But it also is a little bit deeper. You are wedded to calamity. It very much is his wedding that caused this calamity. Romeo enters. "Father, what news? What is the prince's doom, his death sentence? What sorrow craves acquaintance at my hand that I yet know not?" So what is this new sorrow that I've yet to be acquainted with? "Too familiar is my dear son with such sour company." The company is bad news, and my dear son, Romeo, not literal son, but spiritual son, is too familiar with it. This is something that he bemoans, that he grieves that this is true. "I bring thee tidings of the prince's doom." What less than doomsday is the prince's doom? And there's a little bit of a pun. Doomsday, the end of the world. So how could anything less than doomsday, the apocalypse itself, be the prince's death sentence? "A gentler judgment vanished from his lips." Didn't mean that it disappeared. It mean that from his lips, it vanished out into the world. It escaped his lips. "Not body's death, but body's banishment." And Romeo can't believe it. He goes, "Ha! Banishment? Be merciful. Say death. For exile hath more terror in his look, much more than death. Do not say banishment." Romeo does not like banishment. He prefers death over it. "Here from Verona art thou banished." And again, it is banished with that E apostrophe over it because they're adding extra syllables because they're speaking in iambic pentameter, which is 10 syllables a line, 5 repetitions of the 2-syllable iambic pattern. Or rhythm, rather. So, "Here from Verona art thou banished. Be patient, for the world is broad and wide. There is no world without Verona walls, but purgatory, torture, hell itself. Hence, banished is banished from the world, and world's exile is death." He's doing transitive property here. Look, the world is in Verona, Juliet. So outside of it, to be exiled from the world, that's death. So banishment is worse than actual death, or they're equal in my eyes. "Then banished is death mistermed. Calling death banished, thou cuttest my head off with a golden axe, and smilest upon the stroke that murders me." The way of cuttest, that just is cuttest. You are cutting my head off, right? And he even says that your banished is just, you're misterming, you're giving the wrong name for death. When you call death banished, it's like you're smiling at me while you're killing me. Why? Because you're going, "Hey, good news, you're just banished," but it's the same death sentence. It's just as awful. Friar Lawrence responds, "Oh, deadly sin! Oh, rude unthankfulness! Thy fault our law calls death." The fault that you committed, our law calls death, means it calls the death sentence upon it, or death is deserving of it. So he's saying that this is a deadly sin, how unthankful you are being. "But the kind prince, taking thy part, taking your side, hath rushed aside the law, and turned that black word death to banishment. This is dear mercy, and thou seest it not. 'Tis torture and not mercy. Heaven is here, where Juliet lives, and every cat and dog and little mouse, every unworthy thing, live here in heaven and may look on her. But Romeo may not, because he's exiled. More validity, which is health, more honorable state, more courtship lives in carrion flies than Romeo." Carrion is dead, rotting carcasses, meat. And so the flies that come from this, they have more health, more honor, more courtship. Being they're able to stay in the court. They're all able to stay in heaven's court, and so flies have a better station than I have, because they can be here in Verona. The flies, may seize on the white wonder of dear Juliet's hand. Romeo really likes her hand. Remember, that's the first thing that he talks about when he meets her. He wants to touch and kiss her hand. These flies may and steal immortal blessing from her lips, who even in pure and vestal modesty still blush as thinking their own kisses sin. So the flies, can touch her hand. They can steal blessing from her lips, immortal blessing, because Juliet he often refers to as a type of goddess or a saint or heaven. All very religious imagery around Juliet. So the flies may touch her hand, they may kiss her lips, which is pretty odd. And Juliet's lips are pure and they're vestal, and they have vestal modesty, vestal being virginal. And those lips are whenever you kiss them, they still blush. That's because she's still at an age where she is so unaccustomed with sexuality that she thinks her kisses, thinking the lips' own kisses, sin. Now, the note here says that they're touching each other and closing, that just when I close my mouth, that even that make Juliet blushes at, thinking it is sin. But it could also just be, hey, whenever she has a kiss, she still's like, oh, have I transgressed? That's totally something that people can be raised in when chastity is such a virtue. That misappropriation, that misunderstanding of what chastity is, that, oh, wow, all kisses are sinful. But it's just emphasizing how pure and vestal, virginal Romeo sees Juliet as. This may flies do, all these things. Touch her hand, kiss her lips. I don't know why he thinks the flies on carrion is going to be kissing Juliet, but I guess they'll be here so they can do it while he's not around. This may flies do when I from this must fly. There's a little bit of a pun, I must flee. And sayest thou, friar, yet that exile is not death? But Romeo may not, he is banished. Flies may do this, but I from this must fly, he repeats himself. They are free men, and I am banishment. Hadst thou no poison mixed, no sharp ground knife, no sudden mean of death? Mean being method, though ne'er so mean, they're so ignoble. But banish it to kill me? Did you not have poison? Did you not have a knife or some other method of a quick way to kill me? And none of these are so ignoble or so mean in the literal sense, like you're being mean, as saying banished. You're banished. That's killing me. You're killing me with banished. Banish it. Oh, friar, the damned use that word in hell because they are banished from heaven. That's what the footnote says here. Because howling attends it. Howling, the howls of the damned in hell, attends the word banished. How hast thou the heart, being a divine, a ghostly confessor, ghostly being spiritual, confessor, one who hears confessions, but also one who in himself confesses the creed of Catholicism, to mangle me with that word banished. Friar Lawrence says, then, fond madman, hear me a little speak. And fond means foolish, also infatuated. He's infatuated with Juliet. His fondness has made him mad. Oh, thou wilt speak again of banishment. I'll give thee armor to keep off that word. Adversity's sweet milk philosophy to comfort thee, though thou art banished. And this is exactly probably what the friar would do. A couple centuries prior to Romeo and Juliet, there's a very famous book written by Boethius called The Consolation of Philosophy, and it is how philosophy consoles us in times of adversity, right? And so that's very much what he says. I'm going to give you armor to keep that off. It's the sweet milk of adversity. It's milk strengthens us up, it gives us substance, but it's also something that comes from adversity. And milk. It's sweet milk. It's tasty. So this is philosophy can get you through this. Romeo is caught up. He goes, yet banish it. Hang up philosophy. Hang it. Literally kill philosophy. Unless philosophy can make a Juliet, displant a town, which means uproot a town, plant the town somewhere else, reverse a prince's doom, it helps not. It prevails not. Talk no more. Words, philosophy, none of it helps. Oh, then I see that madmen have no ears. Romeo's the madman. He has no ears to hear. He's not listening. How should they, when that wise men have no eyes? Now it's back to Friar Lawrence. That's a dig at him. You don't see my situation. They're not communicating. Let me dispute with thee of thy estate. Dispute, discuss, but also argue, disagree of thy estate, not house, your position, right? This position that you are in. Thou canst not speak of what thou dost not feel. Wert thou as young as I, Juliet thy love, an hour but married, Tybalt murdered, doting like me, and like me banished, then mightst thou speak. Then mightst thou tear thy hair and fall upon the ground as I do now. These are self-immolating acts. Woe is me, I'm going to tear my hair and I'm going to shred my garments because I'm in such an awful position. I'm taking the measure of an unmade grave, measuring out your grave itself, because you might as well be dead. So Romeo is not going to listen to anyone. Partly his undoing, because Friar Lawrence has to fit every single thing for Romeo to even consider listening to him. And as he lays it out, this guy really does have a lot going on, right? He's young. He's only been married an hour. He's killed his cousin-in-law. He's banished. It's a lot. So maybe we can cut him some slack. And it all really has to do with the actors, how much Romeo's passion is taken seriously by the friar. Because after all, Romeo's only 16? Very easy to be like, hey, you're young. This stuff happens. You got off with a really good deal. Take the deal. The nurse knocks. Arise. Which tells us that Romeo has actually fallen on the ground because he's being commanded to arise. Arise. One knocks. Good Romeo, hide thyself. Not I, unless the breath of heart-sick groans mist-like enfold me from the search of eyes. So he's not going to hide himself. It sounds like maybe he wants to get caught, wants to be killed, because that's preferable. And he says, I'm not going to hide unless my breath, my heart-sick groans, can become a mist to hide me. So I guess he's going to stay on the floor. And there's another knock. He says, hark, how they knock, hark, listen, behold, listen. How they knock. Who's there? Romeo, arise, thou wilt be taken away. Stay a while, that's to the door. Stand up. One thing I'm always saying to you guys, hey, whenever you see these little dashes, that means they're talking from one person to another. Very easily communicated when you are seeing actors do it. A little bit weirder on the page, right? So just remember that he's trying to get Romeo to stand up, and there's also someone knocking at the door. So, loud knocking, and then run to my study. By and by, he says that to the door. That means just wait a minute. God's will, what simpleness is this? He's asking, by providence, what simpleness, what stupidity is this? Romeo's not leaving. I come, and the knock is still knocking. Who knocks so hard? Whence come you? What's your will? And the nurse, it says within. So behind one of the doors at the back of the stage, representing the door of the cell. So it's like she is within an actual enclosure. As if here's the door, and she's behind it. You guys are the audience. You can see her, right? Okay. And the whole idea is that it represents the door of a cell, because a cell has literal bars. You can see through it. It's not a jail cell, but there's lots of similarities, right? Okay, so we see the nurse. Let me come in, and you shall know my errand. I come from Lady Juliet. And then she enters. Welcome, then. Oh, holy friar. Oh, tell me, holy friar, where's my lady's lord? Where's Romeo? There on the ground, with his own tears made drunk, being insensible. He might as well be drunk on his own tears. So Romeo is still on the ground, and that can be played up for a laugh. Or it could be tragic, or it could be both. Right? There's a lot of ways that you can really kind of handle this. Just because it's a serious scene doesn't mean that there's not going to be small little moments. And that could work really well. If I was going to play the friar, I might want to play that up. Or if I was Romeo, I might kind of want to make it a little excessive. Why? Because you can't just be all dour all the time. You have to have little moments of levity to accent the tragedy. And then it also only plays up, hey, no, Romeo was really serious, and the adults weren't listening to him. But of course, those are all performance choices. This is a play. So a lot of times, what is here, super up for interpretation. It actually is what you bring to it. It's what the actor brings to it. So a lot of productions are going to be very different depending on how you want to present something. So you got to keep all that in mind, that there is the text and there's so much to it. But the text and its meaning and how you can understand things in all of its multifaceted, various ways is a meeting between you as the reader or an actor and Shakespeare himself. It's in that middle ground that we can find lots of new and unique meanings and why Shakespeare remains perennial. All right, so let's keep reading. So, he is even in my mistress's case. He is even exactly in my mistress's case, condition, just in her case. And this could also be a pun because, as we know, case is something that you put something into and he is in it. And it's the nurse talking. At least that's one of the notes that I have here, what case could refer to. It doesn't really seem like something she'd be talking about, but she is coming to get him to go to her room. So it's not off the table. He is even in my mistress's case, just in her case. Oh, woeful sympathy, piteous predicament. Even so lies she, blubbering and weeping and blubbering. Stand up, and you be a man. For Juliet's sake, for her sake, rise and stand. And that dash says now she's talking to Romeo. Why should you fall into so deep an O, a groaning? But that O could also be, again, the same thing as the case. Nurse, ah, sir, death's the end of all, which is a proverbial consolation. Death's the end of all is a proverb of Shakespeare's time, and it's meant to console you. Death's the end of all. Spakest thou of Juliet? How is it with her? Doth not she think me an old murderer? Old meaning practiced, not actually aged. If you're old at something, then you've had a lot of years in practice to do it. 10,000 hours of mastery practice makes you a master of something. So does she think me an old murderer? Now I have stained the childhood of our joy, with blood removed but little from her own, her cousin, her blood relative, only a little bit removed. And they're old in childhood. Those are poetic, those are metaphorical. Where is she? And how doth she? And what says my concealed lady to our cancelled love? Concealed lady, because she's a secret wife, and cancelled love, just by all of the circumstance. We can't be together. Oh, she says nothing, sir, but weeps, and now falls on her bed, and then starts up, and Tybalt calls, and then on Romeo cries, then down falls again. As if that name shot from the deadly level of a gun did murder her, as that name's cursed hand murdered her kinsman. Right? And I was talking about the name Romeo. Go back to just the night before. Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father, refuse thy name. The name is hateful. So when she's crying on Romeo, he says, it's as if that name was shot at her, the deadly level of a gun. It's as if my name was a bullet. It murdered her as that name's cursed hand, which is my hand. My name's cursed hand killed her kinsman. Oh, tell me, friar, tell me, in what vile part of this anatomy doth my name lodge? It's the same question that Juliet was asking the night before. What is Romeo? It's not hand or foot nor any other part of a man. Where is the name in the body? So he's asking, friar, where in my body is my name? Tell me that I may sack the hateful mansion. Sack means tear down, destroy, run through, and ransack. Might be a word that you're a little bit more familiar with. Sack the hateful mansion. The mansion is me. Again, this is another term that Juliet used not too long ago when she was talking about Romeo as a mansion that she has bought and that she is a mansion that she has not been possessed yet, that has not been occupied in the marital act. So he wants to know where in my anatomy is my name. I want to sack the hateful mansion. He offers to stab himself. He wants to cut his name out. He wants to kill himself. It's caused so much woe. Friar says, hold thy desperate hand. Art thou a man? Thy form, the way that you look, cries out, thou art. Thy tears are womanish. A little bit of sexism, that's not great. Thy tears are womanish. Thy wild acts denote the unreasonable fury of a beast. It's unreasonable, meaning incapable of reason. Beasts can't reason through this. They can't think in logical terms. They operate on instinct. Some are very smart, like dolphins and whales, but they are not capable of writing Shakespeare. There's a clear difference. So he's saying, are you a man or are you an animal? Unseemly woman in a seeming man, inappropriately acting womanish in a seeming man. So again, there is some sexism. But well, it's not very pretty to see. It is something that you see where calling guys ladies, oh, you throw like a girl, is a type of insult. We as a society need to reconsider those, but it is something that he's trying to use to shame Romeo for his behavior, stopping him from killing himself. Unseemly woman in a seeming man, and ill-beseeming beast in seeming both. And you're an unnatural beast in seeming to be both man and unreasoning animal, or both man and woman. If you're both man and animal, or if you're both man and woman, either way, you're an unnatural beast, he's calling her. Him, rather. Thou hast amazed me. By my holy order, I thought thy disposition better tempered. By my holy order, that's just sort of like an oath, and his holy order is the Franciscans. I thought thy disposition, your attitude, the way that you act, the way that you're composed, the position that you're in, better tempered. That you have a better temper, not just in terms of the anger, but temper, especially in terms of like how you are constructed, how you are made, the temperament of a sword, or the temperament of an individual. So I thought that you were better tempered. Hast thou slain Tybalt? Wilt thou slay thyself, and slay thy lady that lives in thy life, that in thy life lives, by doing damned hate upon thyself? It's damned hate because Kill yourself at this time especially was considered a sin. Nowadays, the Catholic Church teaches that the person who commits suicide is in a moment of insanity, that they're not capable of reason, that they are so taken by a mental illness that they're not responsible for their actions, and so not immediately damned to hell. But this is in the 1500s or 1600s. I actually don't know the exact date that this is written, but I'm not here to give you background on the play. I'm here to help you understand it, so I'll let myself off the hook. But you're doing this damned hate upon yourself, and that's going to kill yourself and kill your lady who in your life lives. You are one, and this will destroy her. Why railest thou on thy birth, the heaven and earth? Since birth and heaven and earth, all three do meet in thee at once, which thou at once would lose. So when you rail, it's when you rail on something, it's you are cursing it, you are bemoaning it. So he's saying you're railing on your birth. Oh, woe the day that I was born. On heaven, why would God let this happen? Oh, the heavens, fate. Perhaps they are star-crossed after all. And earth, oh, woe is the world, but also could be earth of the body. A lot of times they refer to their bodies as earth. We've seen that throughout this entire play. Since birth, your nobility, it's also your station, right? And so he's nobility. Since birth and heaven, which is your soul, and earth, your body, all three do meet in thee at once. You are your station, your nobility, you are your soul, you are your body, and they're all in you in which you at once would lose. You lose them all. Fie. Thou shamest thy shape, thy love, thy wit, which like a usurer aboundst in all, and usest none in that true use indeed, which should bedeck thy shape, thy love, thy wit. He's saying you abound in looks, love, and intelligence, but you do not use them judiciously, and then therefore are like a usurer, who acquires money for its own sake without putting it to good use. Usury, sin, which is something that Shakespeare is very, very aware of at the time. And something that they're very much not in favor of in his time. And so you see a lot of this. So you're like a usurer. That's not good. You're not using your mind. You're not using your body. You're not using your love. Thy wit. Thy noble shape, your body, is but a form of wax, digressing from the valor of a man. So it's like you're made of wax, but you're melting. You're digressing. Digressing is deviating from the shape of a man by these actions. He's still going and going, and we're still in this whole monologue. He really does not think highly of Romeo trying to kill himself, and rightly so. There's never a good reason to do so. Thy dear love sworn, but hallow perjury. You've sworn love, but it's perjury. That's where you lie under oath. And that's exactly something that Juliet was afraid of, that Romeo would be perjurous in his vows of love. Killing that love which thou hast vowed to cherish. Thy wit, that ornament, necessary accessory, to shape and love, misshapen in the conduct of them both. So thy wit is an ornament to shape to your body and love. Your mind, your intelligence is misshapen in the conduct of them both. It is inept at managing both your body and your love. Like powder in a skilless soldier's flask is set afire by thine own ignorance. It's like having powder in a flask that's accidentally set off and caused an explosion. So it's inept use. It's set afire by thine own ignorance. And thou, dismembered with thine own defense. Your defense is your weapon. You're going to dismember yourself with the thing that's supposed to defend you. What rouse thee, man? Thy Juliet is alive, for whose dear sake thou wast but lately dead. There art thou happy. Tybalt would kill thee, but thou slewest Tybalt. There art thou happy. The law that threatened death becomes thy friend and turns it to exile. There art thou happy. These are all happy deeds that should be making you happy. A pack of blessings light upon thy back. Happiness courts thee in her best array. But, like a misshaved and sullen wench, misbehaved and sullen wench, thou pouts upon thy fortune and thy love. Take heed, for such die miserable. Those who do not accept and are happy at the fortunes and blessings that are given, they die miserable lives. Go, get thee to thy love, as was decreed. Ascend her chamber, hence, and comfort her. And look thou stay not till the watch be set, until the guards take up their position at the city gates. For then thou canst not pass to Mantua, where thou shalt live till we can find a time to make public your marriage, reconcile your friends, beg pardon of the prince, and call thee back, with 20,000 times more joy than thou wentst forth in lamentation. So he's got a plan. Go to Juliet. Do not stay until the watch is set, which means you have to leave before it's too early in the morning. All right, and there you'll go to Mantua, which is another city in Italy. And you're going to live there until we can make your marriage public, we can reconcile, we're going to solve everything. You just got to be patient. And honestly, this plan is a pretty good plan. It's only going to be miscommunication, trials of errors, all these other things, and a couple things that we're going to get to in the next couple scenes that make it become a disaster. But the point is, be patient, Romeo. Don't kill yourself. That's ridiculous. Now he turns to the nurse. Go before, nurse, go before Romeo to Juliet, because he's going to go to Juliet. Commend me to thy lady, and bid her hasten all the house to bed, which heavy sorrow makes them apt unto. Romeo is coming. All right, so bid her hasten all the house to bed. Try to get her to have everyone go to sleep. That way Romeo won't get caught, because Romeo's coming. And heavy sorrow makes them apt unto. When people are really sad, sleep can come easier to them, because they want to kind of enter into sleep. That's that little death that obliterates conscience just for a little while, so they don't have to endure their suffering. Because all of her house is really upset that Tybalt's dead. Oh Lord, I could have stayed here all the night to hear good counsel. Oh, what learning is! My lord, I'll tell my lady you will come. Do so, and bid my sweet prepare to chide. Here, sir, a ring she bid me give you, sir. And this is a literal ring that Juliet gave her at the end of when we last saw them. So gives her a ring. Hie you, which means hurry, make haste, for it grows very late. How well my comfort is revived by all of this action. Go hence, good night. And here stands all your state. Here on all of this depends all of your state. What's going to happen to you? Either be gone before the watch be set, or by the break of day, disguised from hence. Sojourn, which means stay, in Mantua. I'll find out your man, and he shall signify from time to time every good hap to you that chances here, every good happening, every good event. So I'm going to find out your man, probably Benvolio, but I'm going to find a man that works for you, and he's going to let you know everything that's happening. Give me thy hand, 'tis late. Farewell, good night. But that a joy past joy calls out on me, it were a grief so brief to part with thee. So, but that a joy past joy calls out to me. Going to see his lady love. Gonna go do some of the marital act. If I didn't have such an amazing joy calling out to me, it would be a grief so brief to part with thee, to so hastily leave you. Because he's a really, really great dude. He says farewell and he leaves. So there we have it. Romeo is not taking this well, but there's a plan. He can go see Juliet. They can go seal the deal, literally. They can consummate their marriage. So he's doing a lot better. And it looks like things are going to work out. Right now, it doesn't have to be a tragedy. Yeah, Tybalt and Mercutio are dead. That's pretty tragic. But it doesn't have to end with more death. We're going to be seeing in scenes, Act 3, Scene 4, exactly why it starts to become the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet and not ending happily like the friar wants it to be. So, of course, I'll have to see you then. Thanks for listening.